Hey guys, it is Mike from Baltimore Rides here. It's about 3 a.m., a little bit less than 3 a.m., and I am wrapping up my Thursday, the 26th video. It's actually, Friday the 27th. Like I said, it's spilled over into the early morning. But I'm wrapping up my video for the night and calling it quits. I've got about $200 in, like $199 and change, which is a great night. All things being equal, I was not expecting that kind of a result, but like I told you guys in my video when I started this day, that I didn't think it would be worth driving to DC. There wasn't a whole lot going on. There was a Ravens game in Baltimore at home. And some concerts down at Power Plant Live. So it was a calculated risk, and I'm glad I took it. And I'll tell you for why. I did 27 trips tonight, and I did $190 something. And that's pretty profound for Baltimore plus Towson. Now I will say this, some of that was Uber Eats. I would say probably half of that business was up in Towson. And ultimately, I don't think I could have produced those kind of numbers in DC tonight. I just don't. I don't think at all that would have been possible. I think if I'd driven to DC, I probably would have done $100 to $150, probably somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 trips. And put a lot more miles on my car than I did. So, it's just one of those things where it was a risk and it paid off tonight. It really did. I'm glad I took it. I'm glad it paid off. But I'm really glad I took the risk. None of this stuff applies to my Quest goals. They're all DC goals. But, again, I wasn't going to make my Monday through Thursday Quest anyway. And so knowing that, it in a way, this is horrible to say, but in a way it's kind of freeing. It allowed me to be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more, switch things up a little bit to try a different strategy. So, that's kind of where we stand. I had a good night. I honestly had a good night. I got stuck in Ravens traffic, which sucks, by the way. So if you're going to do Ravens games, I'm just warning you in advance. The traffic situation around M&T makes an Orioles game look like a walk in the park. Just really, really complicated. The road closures are worse. The amount of car volume is worse. Really what it ended up being tonight, and I did about 3 or 4 trips to M&T and a couple pickups as well, is you get as close as you can before your customer gets frustrated and just bails and gets out and walks. And it's nothing of any driver's fault. I'm sure I'm not the only driver that was having that happen. It's just the volume of traffic was so intense from about 6 p.m. on to 8:25, when the game was about 5 minutes away from starting. It was just nonstop vehicle traffic. Baltimore is clearly a football town and not a baseball town, because the amount of people that showed up for that game, is very telling. So if you're going to drive, in the city on a football night, just be forewarned that there are some problems with traffic. I was able to get a bunch of good surge rides, but of course none of them were long distance, so none of them were really, more than a mile or two, but they still ended up being, $13, $14 for 2 miles because of the surge cloud. And really, honestly, I felt like Towson was just as productive. They partied in Towson tonight, and then they partied at Power Plant Live, I guess for like a pre-Halloween costume party thing. And there was big surge in Towson tonight. I was there for most of it, for just about all of it, honestly. And, it was kind of premeditated. I knew I wanted to get to Towson. The football game got out around 11, and I was like, I know I need to get to Towson. I need to get my butt up there because by midnight, people are going to start wrapping it up. And I was right. And it was worth it. There were a lot of other Uber drivers up here with me in Towson. I kept seeing them on the road, but we all benefited from it. So if you were driving tonight and you were in Baltimore or you were in Towson, like myself, you probably had some good fares. You probably had some really good rides. So, that's kind of that, guys. I did not have anybody barf in my car, thank God. I did not have any really, really bad customers. I had a lot of great people, a lot of good conversations. It was awesome. It was a good night. It was a very good night. I wanted to wrap up a little bit early, but then, some stuff happened and I ended up staying out on the road a little bit later than I thought. I was ready to quit around 2-ish, but the amount of traffic just continued, and I probably did, I don't know, 6, 7, maybe even 8 Uber Eats orders tonight, all from like the same McDonald's in Towson right on York Road, like just back to back to back. I did learn a trick though. One of my Uber Eats early in the evening had surge on it, but the rest of them did not. And I'm not sure why that is, because there was surge in Towson when the Uber Eats orders came through. So just be warned there. If you've got a surge cloud, turn off Eats in your preferences real quick, because those rides for some reason or another don't get surge. I don't know if it's because they're where the customer is located and not necessarily where the food restaurant is located. That might be the case. And that seemed to be the issue, is that most of my deliveries were over in like the dorms, but the surge cloud was nowhere near the dorms. It was kind of in like downtown by the Rotary. So that's kind of an observation. I don't have a scientific answer for you, but that's my suspicion. So if you are in a surge cloud somewhere, turn off Eats, because you're probably not going to get surge on your Eats deliveries. And they take longer, guys. I did a couple early in the evening, like some sushi places and a noodles place and a Mexican place, and they were fast because by the time I got there, the food was already ready. McDonald's Uber Eats orders are a shitstorm. Pardon my language, but they are just a mess. They're never ready when you get there. They are, at that point in the night at 2 a.m, all the drunk college kids are trying to get food. And so you're competing with 47,000 other, restaurant orders that they're all trying to, put together at the same time. And your Uber Eats order just falls into the cracks with all the rest of them. And, that's the honest to goodness truth, is that it's not that they're not trying, it's just that they're overwhelmed. So, just be forewarned that you're going to invest 10 or 15 minutes of, maybe even more, waiting for the food. And if it's worth waiting for, then it's worth waiting for. But, like at 3 a.m, 2:30 in the morning, I didn't have anything else to do. And I was getting more Uber Eats requests than people requests, and there wasn't surge. So at that point, why not? It just makes sense. But if you've got a surge cloud and you've got people moving around, like when bar closing or party ending or whatever the case may be, just temporarily shut off your Eats for, the hour or two that it's active. So that you're not missing out on those quick trips to mess around with one Uber Eats order that's going to take you 30 to 40 minutes. So that's my little tutorial on Uber Eats, guys. I haven't used it in a while, but I turned it back on either yesterday or the day before when I noticed it was kind of slow in the city, and I thought, what the heck, why not, why hinder myself? Why not open up to everything? So I am somewhere around $400 for the week. Obviously tonight basically almost doubled my money, because it was soft Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's not bad, guys. I'm okay with that going into my Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because, I can do 200 plus Friday, Saturday, and then I can do 100-ish on Sunday. My Quest goal is another big one, 65 trips for $195. So, that's more than I expected it to be. You guys heard me the couple days now. I've been saying I anticipated it being around 150 because my Monday through Thursday goal was 90. So, maybe they're reading it and saying, okay, he didn't make his week goal, let's give him a little bit more, something more. I don't know how they calculate that. I'm curious, but I'll take it, because that's really where the money is. So, and that's something to be considered, is that, is there a way I can scale this model so that I'm making most of my money up, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a half day Sunday, and maybe just taking off Monday and Tuesday. I don't know. That's something to think about down the road. It feels like it's viable, but I don't know for sure. So, a lot of good stuff tonight, guys. I'm wrapping up because I'm tired. My eyes hurt. I've been using eye drops, the wedding eye drops, but they don't seem to help me too much. And I don't know if that's because it's allergy season and my fall allergies are kicking my butt and my eyes are just itchy. Zyrtec is great for my nose, but it doesn't do a whole lot for my itchy eyes. So, I don't know. But I'm rambling. Reggie, if you're out there, buddy, I hope to connect with you next week. And we can meet a little bit face to face and just kind of commiserate and talk about what's going on. Definitely look forward to that, and everybody else that's out there, thank you guys so much for the communication. That's the part that I appreciate the most. I love it when people subscribe to the channel. I love it when people send me messages through the YouTube system, but I really like it when people reach out to me and text me or call me or, whatever, because not only does it tell me that you guys are out there listening and that what I'm saying, is maybe helpful in some small measure, but, we are a team, guys. We have to be a team. We have to stick together. We have to help each other, get better at this as a group, because that's the only way we're going to stay successful. Uber as an industry is amazing. Uber Corporation is out to make Uber Corporation money. That's the honest to goodness truth, guys. I'm a fan. I'm not a negative person that talks bad about Uber, but realistic business sense. Uber as a corporation is out to make money for Uber. That's why we're contractors. That's why we're not employees. Their fare structure, their pricing fees, all that stuff is all, they're walking that tightrope of how much do we have to pay the drivers to keep them without paying them too much so that we can keep the rest. I mean, that's, that's kind of the equation, because ultimately they need to drive the fare prices down as low as they can. Their goal is to own the marketplace. Their goal is to, dominate versus Lyft and all the other little mom and pop ride-sharing companies that are starting to grow out of the weeds. And as long as they can keep their fares priced A, aggressive, and B, competitive, they'll always win. But, if they have to raise their fares because they're trying to compensate their drivers more, then that's going to make them less competitive. So they're trying to squeeze every penny they can to keep us on board. And I think it's working, because I think a lot of people are very happy with Uber right now, like myself. But we have to work smart. We have to work smart, and that's the trick, guys. That's what this is all about. If we work smart and we share secrets and we share, what works and what doesn't, we're going to be successful. We're not going to waste time. Every minute that we're sitting in our car and we're not, driving a customer or picking a customer up, we're wasting time and money. And our time and money is valuable. So we need to maximize that. We need to be working actively as much as possible. And then working smart. Trying to maximize on events, trying to maximize on Boost and Surge and Quest and anything we can, any incentive that we can to make ourselves more profitable. And that's what this is all about, guys. So, everybody that's reaching out to me and talking and sharing and asking questions, thank you. That's how we all get better at this stuff. So I really appreciate that. And some people have given me some great ideas that, that I'm trying to rattle around in my brain and experiment with. So, I was talking to somebody yesterday about the airport, and I said to him, look, BWI is a sand pit right now, and if you're not a golfer, a sand trap or a sand pit is like a doom, because it's very hard to get out of that. Once you've got a golf ball in a sand trap, it takes a lot of effort to get yourself out. And that's kind of what I think BWI has become. There's always long lines or long queues in the weight pickup queue. And that to me is, I don't know, I scratch my head. If I were a driver and I saw, 80 plus on a Tuesday, Wednesday night at BWI, I would just want to, I don't know, I'd want to bang my head against a wall. How can that be profitable? I mean, I know there's long trips to be had. I used to get them all the time, but how long are you waiting per trip? The math equation there just baffles me. I don't get it. I tried it for a long time, a couple months, and I had good and I had bad, and it was very much a mixed bag. And you guys know my feeling on airports in general. They're dangerous because they're enticing, but they're not consistent. And our goal is to be as consistent as possible. Consistent. So let me let you guys go, because I've jumped a couple subjects real quick now because my brain is just on like random fire mode. And I'm going to get some sleep, and I'm going to hit the road tomorrow, and we're going to start our weekend battle, our Friday, Saturday, Sunday battle. So I will be back in DC tomorrow because it's time to get that quest goal. So everybody have a great night. Thanks again, and I will see you guys tomorrow.